This is my 2011 Toyota Sienna Minivan. It's all-wheel drive, 178,000 miles, and I'm on a 10,000 mile road trip right now, living in this thing full time. I built it over the course of 3 days, so it's a very minimal, very basic, and very realistic build. It's not one of those elaborate 1 year long professional grade builds. So let's get into it, and I'm gonna show you guys all the ins and outs of this thing. For me, this is a very functional build. It does what I personally need. But over the course of 3 days, if you really dedicate your time, you can customize one of these things to do whatever you need on the road. And they're a lot cheaper than buying a ProMaster or a Sprinter or any of those other options. And they also come in all-wheel drive like this one. I bought it from Facebook Marketplace. It was like 5 minutes away from where my parents live, and I got it for $9,000. And before we get into the inside, you just need to know that on this road trip, I picked up a ton of stuff that I had in storage. So right now it is way heavily loaded down. It's way more packed than it should be. And if I was to normally be living in this full time, it would be a lot less packed with a little bit more space inside. So just know that before you get into it. All right, it's got the automatic doors, which is actually super nice. I didn't think I would like those, but when I'm inside, I literally just tap the door and it opens for me. It seems like such a minuscule thing, but after living in this thing for the last 2 months, that feature has been incredible. I absolutely love it. I have just the bone stock everything on this. There's no spare tire, which is a big red flag. I've already ran into an issue on that. If you follow my channel, you know. Something really bad just happened. Oh no. Oh. I am so far away from anybody that can help me. No. I just have some very basic all-terrain tires. I blacked out all the windows from the inside so you can't see anything from outside. Can't see a single thing. E-bike that I use anytime I come to a place like this, I take it out and go exploring. I got this from Rev Rides. If you guys are interested in a bike, I'll have a link down below. And I had the hitch actually from an older van that I had, that you pull the bottom pin right here, and then the entire thing will hitch down so you can still have access to the back door. That was something that was super important to me, be able to not have to remove the bike completely because it's just such a pain. I wanted to be able to do something quickly to move the bike out of the way and still have access to that back door. And this was a super simple solution. It's literally just a hitch extender, like a hitch raiser, I guess, a hitch riser from Harbor Freight. I forget how much it was, but just straight into the tow hitch, raised it up, and then this all here is custom. But like I said, this was from an older minivan that I had, and I literally just drew a template that fit the base of the bike, and then just found some bolts, some scrap bolts, and put them straight through, straight into a couple nuts on the bottom. So I just zip them in right through the foot pegs, and it's good to go. Here's what the bike looks like whenever it's sitting at its hinged point. I would never drive like this. That's just whenever I need to open the back door. But you can see it just clears it. It's super close. Rooftop box that I found on Facebook Marketplace for a couple $100. That thing is packed to the absolute max. I'm not even gonna open it because I don't want things falling out. But let's go to the inside. I didn't clean anything up, so this is what it truly looks like from living in this for 2 months. And I'm used to living in a lot bigger vehicles. I lived in an ambulance and a school bus for the last 6 years. So living in something very small, it's been very tough to adjust to the smaller space. So I just built these cabinets, or shelves, I guess you could say. I didn't want to make anything permanent, so I took this little strap and I wrapped it around a little grab handle with a piece of rubber in there as well, so it doesn't mess anything up. So that is the only way that this thing is anchored, other than there was a bolt right here that held the track. This is where the old seats used to slide. That bolt held the track in, and just removed the bolt, put a longer bolt, went straight into that same hole, and that is the only way that anything is anchored into the entire van. So it's just this point here and that bolt that holds every single thing together. So just storage everywhere. Go to the front seat. I don't know why I have 2 helmets, but I have 2 helmets, and then I keep all of my tools up here. I wanted to keep as much weight forward in the van as I could, so that's just completely packed with all my tools. And the seat is always just either helmets or something random, but it's always freaking full. Driver door, I keep my 3 pairs of shoes down here. It's kind of annoying when I'm driving, my feet are always hitting into them, but I had no better place to put them. I didn't want to keep putting them in and out of there because that's just such a pain to open. I realized the whole front is super sloppy, and I could have cleaned this all and made it look really nice for you, but I figured be honest about it. Right here, I have a massive power station from Anchor. I got this from a brand deal that I did with them a while ago. This video is not sponsored. I'm just letting you know. I was just charging this through this little plug, and I'm not sure what exactly happened, but it burnt up all 3 of my cigarette lighters in the first 2 weeks of being on the road. So I've had no way to charge this. I've been stopping at a friend's house. I'll plug it in for an hour, let it be fully charged. I didn't put solar on this, which was a big mess up for me. I should have done that, but I honestly thought I was driving so much that this thing would stay fully charged. But since it burnt up all of my cigarette lighter ports and never popped a fuse, it literally melted the connections on the back of each cigarette lighter without popping the fuse. I'm not sure exactly why that happened. I have my theories, but I'm not even gonna get into that. So what I did is I took this cable that came with the Anchor and I snipped the end of it off. I routed it through the firewall and I wired it directly to the battery. I literally did this like 2 days ago. So I still need to stop and buy an inline fuse because that's very not safe how I have this just direct wired from the battery to the plug. So I will be adding an inline fuse to that. So that way it's using just the wire that came with the Anchor, and it's been working so far. I mean, it's only been 2 days. I've been keeping an eye on the wire, making sure it's not getting too hot, but that's been kind of a pain to deal with, honestly. Right here we have, I think it's called Bouge. I like to say bougie, but this is just from Amazon. I think it was like 250 bucks. Pretty decent sized fridge. It holds more than I need and doesn't really use that much power. Plugs directly in with a carport right into the Anchor, and that stays on full time. Right here we have my bed, which is a twin XL. It goes all the way to the back. It's super long so I can actually stretch out, and it is also Amazon special, just like I think a 5-inch mattress with a 1.5-inch mattress topper from Walmart. This thing's actually crazy comfortable. My friends offer to let me sleep in their house as I'm traveling through visiting people, but I prefer to sleep in here. It's so cozy. And now let's crawl inside, back over to the seat. I left one of the stock seats in the minivan. That way I had a place to sit, relax, and also got a little fold down desk so that way I can sit here and edit, do all the computer work that I need to do. Just a simple hinge. And then up top, I cut a little slot in the wood, push it right through, and then twist the little eye hook. Got a whiteboard there to keep track of my life because I forget everything. This seat actually folds all the way down into the floor. I have these little lights. They just work off AAA batteries. It was like 10 or 11 bucks. Put them all over the place. And then also I got these Christmas lights that plug into a USB. So I stuffed them in everywhere, all around the corner. Plenty of light. I haven't really needed anything more than that. And for the 2011 and newer models, this is where they made the seats fold into the floor, which goes way down into there. It's really great storage. And if I didn't have to pick up all of my stuff from my storage unit, this would have been so much extra space for me. But it's also a pain because that sinks all the way down into the floor where the spare tire should be. And they just did away with a spare tire altogether on the minivans. I don't know if they just assume soccer moms don't want to change their own tire, but it was a pretty big pain for me whenever I got a flat tire in the middle of the desert, 93 miles away from the nearest town. I wonder if I can get a patch kit. Maybe I can just patch this back together. That should be okay. Huh. Looks like I live here now. My e-bike is almost dead, and that's definitely not enough to get me anywhere. Oh, shit. If you want to check out that video, the link's up in the corner right now. For the windows, I literally just used the Reflectix from Home Depot. Just got one roll of it and it did the whole thing. These are just 2 little sticks of wood that I stuffed right in there and right in there to keep it from sagging. I actually had my mom sew in, I don't know if you can see, yeah. Just got some black fabric and had her sew everything. I cut everything to the size they needed and then just gave her all of the Reflectix panels, and then she sewed around all the black material. So that way, inside looks ugly, but from the outside, it's just completely black, which is super nice. I wanted this thing to look inconspicuous, and I think whenever you can see the Reflectix panels sticking outwards, I think it just looks bad. It doesn't look great from the outside. I love this look where it's completely black, and I've been getting some great use out of this thing. I've been all over the country so far. I think I mentioned earlier in the video that I am in southern Arizona, pretty close to the border. This is where I slept last night, and I'm on my way all the way back to Pennsylvania right now. But I appreciate you guys watching this video. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below, and I'm gonna try to answer everything. Any van life questions, anything about the minivan, drop them down in the comments below, and I'll try to do my best to answer them for you. But I need to get back in this thing, get on the road and start driving. So I'll leave you guys there. Thank you guys, and enjoy some clips of the minivan from my 10,000 mile road trip.